Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC and a pivotal clash in the race for playoffs, Origen versus XL Esports. Well, the Jactroll party started with a bang, but now Origen is feeling the hangover. They are on a 4-game losing streak and in danger of not even making playoffs.
They're as uncomfortable as Drakos is right now, and I think it is very important to point out. He was just really
I was adjusting my microphone volume.
And I think it is really important to note that after Jactroll came into the roster, he goes 2-0, makes some very bold statements that didn't age well, as we've already covered today. But more importantly, what he was bringing to the roster was shot calling, was leadership, was a voice to follow. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to adapt to that. And now you've seen them on a 4-game losing streak, and it's not Jactroll to blame. Nukeduck is underperforming. The team are not making the right decisions across the map, and as a whole, they've just been struggling for a long time.
Yeah, and I want to take it back to something that I think is like very easy for viewers and very easy for anyone to identify, and that's kind of the draft. And the big thing is, for the longest time, OG were the scaling team. They were slow and steady. They were a lot of the things that we now kind of praise Rogue for being. The issue is in this last week, Origen finally started drafting for early game. We're like, wow, what a change. And then they botched the execution in just about every way possible. We saw versus Mad Lions with the Zyra Con, Jactroll leaping in just to get bound, just to do absolutely nothing while Hecarim scales out of control. And we saw in the following game where you had Syndra Blitzcrank bot lane for upset, and you had Lucian mid for Nukeduck, where Nukeduck did nothing at all. And it's just, it's really, I was so excited when I saw the draft to hope that Origen were turning over a new leaf, but then to see executional issues from a team that for so long has been so consistent is very disappointing.
And they are very much in danger of missing playoffs.
Yep.
You know, they missed it last summer. This is a team that just isn't finding the gears. And when you see the fact that Vitality has picked up a surprise, when you don't know what the strengths of every other team is going to be, it is a terrifying prospect.
It is, and we also saw that on the players' faces last week, but also most notably in Alphari's tweet, you know. And Alphari is someone I identify as being kind of an image for the team. He talks a lot, he gives interviews, he's very stoic, great top laner, and then he comes out with a quite emotional and defeatist tweet, tired of having to tell myself next year will be better, and that's just very sad to see and very telling.
The crazy thing is, statistically, he's still one of, if not the best top laner in multiple categories on a team that is struggling.
Yeah.
That says a lot about his impact, and when we saw the footage as we came out of the ad break, he put his head in his hands. You know, he's taking these losses heavily. We also saw the tweets when Jactroll was subbed into the roster. It's a difficult time for him, but it's a difficult time for Origen. Honestly, all Origen fans. For the last 2 years, there's been more disappointment than happiness. And when you look at their strength of schedule, mathematically speaking, they have the hardest strength of schedule, right? 3 teams with win-losses. Now, that doesn't freaking matter this summer because teams that have high wins and low losses just lost. We just saw that from Rogue. Schalke, lowest wins, highest losses. They're terrifying.
Yeah, and to contextualize maybe Alphari's tweet also, you know, you need to win these games because you're so close for many of these members, right? Alphari had the Worlds run with Misfits, and it seemed like the sky was the limit and never really got back there. An upset chasing a trophy. Still, Xerxe lauded as the best jungler in Europe for so long, and Nukeduck chasing that. It's just, they're on the cusp of, I think, something that could be very influential if they do not make playoffs here.
I mean, you're completely right. It's just, it's very sad, especially for Alphari, a player who went to Worlds when he was not the best top laner in our region, had a great showing. Now he is, I think, objectively in every metric that you can measure, the best top laner in our region, and he might not make playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. I said they're up versus XL, and for XL, it's a different story. It's not that we're all high and mighty and like the best team in the world, but they're on the cusp of making playoffs for the first time in their career. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you look at the development and the 2-year plan that they've set out for themselves.
And they're also the only team who has never made playoffs. And despite that, I feel like we always talk about at some point in the split, because we see these incredible games from XL. You remember the Mickey performance in mid lane where he's playing Pantheon and was taking names. You've seen the Patrik Azir performances, and you look at XL and you go, XL is a good team. And then for some reason, every season ends and they're 7th, they're 8th. And it has to stop. It has to stop because it's so disappointing every single season.
And while Alphari may not be able to 1v9 every game, Patrik is almost doing that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And how much would it sting for Origen to lose a game to XL when they are in a fight for their lives for playoffs for the AD carry they kicked? Right? They replaced Patrik with Upset, and now XL on the cusp. Now, the thing that I just cannot reconcile in my head is they're playing OG Fnatic G2.
Yeah.
You take the context of Summer Split out of the equation, that is freaking terrifying. You add the context of Summer, I'm confused. I'm not going to make any more statements because I don't understand what is going on, and I don't know what performance these teams are going to bring to the table.
I got to agree with you, Quickshot. This is just, it's an absolute mess. My impression is that the teams are so close in relative strength that at this point, it's just who plays better on the day. There are no safe predictions left.
We gotta go, Trevor.
Yep.
Unless it's groundbreaking statements.
All
right.
They are on the cusp of emotional disparity or emotional celebrations that cannot be quantified because both of these teams have a longer history of disappointment than success.
All right. That was all right as an introduction.
Real
All right.
sad or real happy? TLDR, they're going to have something.
Yeah, this is
Humbled
Super
at
Week.
the end.
XL Esports, they are looking to make history and advance to their first ever LEC
It wasn't worth
playoff.
it. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, Sjokz.
Yeah.
I can still hear you, Trevor. It's despair. Despair was the word you were looking for, not disparity. Disparity is the difference between things, and you flubbed it.
You won't find any of that here on this casting desk, because
Too
we're
happy.
nothing but happiness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Let's jump into our second game of the day. It's XL versus Origen. Whew. We talk about tense games, my dude. This one
is so tense.
Very tense.
I've just been chatting with our numbers guys, Vedius. Marcus told me if Origen win, they have in 42% of scenarios, they get to playoffs.
Wait a minute,
42.
wait. Music's drowning your
Oh, sorry, that's true. I
Say it
I
again.
thought I was quite loud.
Now,
Okay.
do it.
If Origen win,
Yeah.
in 42% of scenarios, they make
42%, okay.
playoffs. If they lose,
Yes.
1.9%
1.9.
of scenarios, they make it to playoffs.
That is low.
That is very low.
That's lower than Schalke.
Yeah.
Even if Schalke lost the game,
So
that's even lower,
We don't
right?
actually know what Schalke's numbers are right now because we haven't checked. But yes, it was lower than Schalke's
Previous,
percent
yes.
scenarios coming into this week. Yes, because it was 4%.
Which is wild,
Yeah.
okay? Oh, my word.
Right now, Schalke is 8.7%. So if
Yes.
Origen lose, they have less chance than Schalke of making playoffs.
That is how important this game is for Origen.
I'll quickly say, not chance in less scenarios they make it, because not a probability, it's just if we looked at 50-50 odds. Anyway, League of Legends drafting is happening here, Vedius.
Yes.
XL on the blue side, they banned out Gangplank, Ezreal, Orianna. Origen banned out Kalista, Senna, and the Volibear, and immediately it's Caitlyn into Jhin.
It's like we're watching the same draft all over again, Medic.
Yep.
You know, like we see, oh, but the Azir has slipped through, and it looks like XL will be able to get their hands on that one. So already you can see this very strong siege start to form from XL's comp. They have some, oh my word, look at this comp coming through. Wow. XL are feeling themselves. They're already locking in all 3 carries. No jungler locked in. Origen going to respond with a bit of a Nukeduck classic in the form of the Corki. Feels like we're going for strong early game presence again from XL. This jungle pick is going to be very important. Neither team has their jungler right now. Origen will, of course, get priority, so I expect to see a bunch of junglers banned away. Things like Trundle should definitely be taken off the board. The Sejuani already removed from the options. Yuumi going to be removed from XL. You know, we already saw the Jhin Yuumi earlier in the day. Didn't have a huge amount of success, but clearly teams definitely prioritizing this in the 2v2 bot lane right now, so definitely something to keep our eyes on as Super Week continues.
I really love this Camille pick for Kryze. I think it's so powerful, and if Origen don't ban away Morgana here, I think XL can look to lock that Morgana second phase. Camille jumping in with a Morgana Black Shield on top of her makes it so difficult for a Jhin or Corki to do anything.
Ooh, I wonder if they'll do Jhin. Okay, if they do Jhin Morgana, then it's Caitlyn
Karma,
yes. So maybe they don't want to do that. All right, let's have a look. The Lux banned away. Okay, that's normally when you see the Lux ban, you think, oh, Lux owner. But Caitlyn Lux, also very strong.
I mean, it kind of does what Karma does, but has a binding alongside it. It's a Morgana Karma sort of conglomeration, and Kha'Zix will be the lock here for Xerxe in the jungle.
This draft is fast, very fast. What? Tahm Kench? Okay, okay. I was like, Tahm Kench Caitlyn, like, I can kind of see it.
We don't talk about the hovers.
So I do like Tahm Kench against Kha'Zix, though. You know, I think it can be pretty good. In any case, we'll see what support gets locked in for XL.
I think the Kha'Zix, when you know or expect a Morgana to get locked in, is quite cool because, of course, it's all physical damage. You're not reliant on CC, so you just jump in, you do all that damage through the back shield anyway. Sett will be the lock for Caedrel in the jungle, we have to expect. He's played 5 games on it, only won 2 of those 5 so far, but he'll be looking to add another one to that win list.
So the biggest problem with XL's comp right now is they have very little crowd control. Like, they do have some tools, and yeah, this is why I was talking about it, because I think that if you lock in the Morgana, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. But by locking in the... This is also fine. Braum is also fine. The whole point is that when Kha'Zix dives on you, you need something that can help protect your backline.
Instant disengage.
Yes, and I think that Braum can do that, and that's why I also talked about the Tahm Kench earlier, saying like, I can understand the logic behind a Tahm Kench to help protect you from the Kha'Zix that's looking to dive.
I actually really like the Braum because I was thinking, well, what would a Morgana give you that a Braum doesn't? Black Shield for the Call of the Forge God.
Yeah.
Braum can block that.
Yes.
Braum has the Unbreakable, so he actually provides that sort of bridge between the Morgana and a Nautilus. Tahm Kench will be locked in for Jactroll.
I will say, though, Jhin Tahm Kench is a very strong 2v2.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an expert on this matchup, but I can see a world where Jhin and Tahm Kench can actually win that 2 versus 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Depending on how early laning plays out. And like, we'll have a look at jungle pathing, we'll see how the lane state goes, but like, I think if Origen, looking at this matchup, they're actually feeling pretty comfortable right now. They have engage tools, they have scaling options, they have pretty good team fighting, depending on how well Xerxe can play the Kha'Zix. Meanwhile, XL, they have a couple more options. They can split up the map a lot more. They have a lot more early game power in theory, because they should have pushing mid, pushing top, and depending on how this 2v2 goes, potentially a pushing bot as well. But yeah, we'll see a lot on the line in this matchup. Medic, we're going to be jumping into XL versus Origen for our second game of the day.
Woo! On to Summoners if we go. 2 of 15. We are only a part of the way through, and you can see through this draft, the first couple of picks, Vedius, what were they? They were AD carries.
Yep.
You can tell both these teams prioritize getting their AD carries on something that's strong, something with which they can carry, and throughout the course of the split, that's what we've seen from XL, that's what we've seen from Origen. It's been all about which AD carry will carry harder. We want you guys to vote in the chat. If you think it's Patrik, type P-A-T-R-I-K, and if you think it's Upset, type U-P-S-E-T.
Yeah, which carry do you think is going to have the bigger impact? Which one do you think will put their team in their backpack and take them to a win today? You can vote in the chat, put the names in, and then we're going to get your opinions in just a little bit. So while you guys are typing away furiously, Medic and I are going to Medic and I are going to look at what's going on in the early game. So. Okay. Early jungle pathing is something we always want to take our interest in. To start off, Caedrel's going to be starting off towards his blue. Now, we could do a full topside clear and just focus on playing around top, or we can look for something like a blue into Gromp into red, maybe something like a bot play if he's interested in trying to utilize maybe either cover or maybe look for something actually aggressive in the 2 versus 2. One of the crucial things to note is that Upset and Jactroll did assist Xerxe with his first jungle camp, which means that Patrik and Torre are going to have priority in this lane, and they're going to be able to get that early level 2 and that early push as well.
Importantly to note as well, Patrik went for lethal tempo this time on the Caitlyn instead of the fleet footwork. Probably thinking perhaps it's going to take a little bit less harassment than we saw from the Jhin Yuumi in the last game, so he's going for more of that damage. If you can get that lethal tempo proc early in a team fight, you can absolutely shred through a tank like Alphari on this Ornn.
Yeah. Speaking of runes, did notice that Xerxe is also running Electrocute. I can hear Ender in the background being visibly upset.
Yeah,
he's a big advocate of the phase rush. He feels that the bonus mobility that you get from it is incredibly strong. But we do know that Ender is very passionate about his jungle rune choices. Obviously, the Electrocute does give you a little bit more burst, which helps you threaten that backline more. And based on the composition that he has, he's probably assuming that he's the only one diving onto the backline. So he just wants to get that kill, jump back out as quickly as possible. So perhaps that's his rationale, but also gives you a little bit more early dueling power as well, because you do have that additional bit of damage.
And as the observers bring our eyes back down towards that bottom lane, let's see what you guys are thinking. Patrik versus Upset, who's going to carry harder?
Okay. It's quite one-sided.
Yeah, that's a lot more one-sided than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I wonder if it's slightly altered by the picks. I always think of a Caitlyn carrying harder than a Jhin.
I mean, but it also could just be the fact that when we look at Patrik, he has been, like, the best player on XL this split. He has had a phenomenal split. He had a phenomenal split last split too. And I think that Patrik has showcased multiple times that he is a very talented AD carry. Just stats alone, you can see that he's one of the best performers in our league. only a little bit ahead of Upset, who's also had a very strong performance, even though Origen have struggled so far this split.
I think it's so strange to see, like, these two players are playing, like, the top 3 AD carries in the league, and they're sitting on teams that are in tied sevens, right? Like, our league is just so crazy right now, and it's so important to pick up every single one of
I can
these
already
wins.
see the Reddit thread. You know, AD carries need a buff. If Patrik and Upset can't win games, like, clearly the role is too weak.
I mean, either the role is too weak, or AD carries in Europe are just really bad.
No, can't be that.
That's true. We only have good players.
It's true.
League of
Only,
Legends.
exactly.
Freak said it.
We only have good players. But also, like, these two are two of the best AD carries in Europe, man. Like, it's crazy how talented they are. And the craziest thing about it was Patrik used to be on Origen. Patrik got Origen to a final
Oh my god.
last year in spring, and then of course they finished 7th place, and then Upset was supposed to be the upgrade to Patrik, and now it could be Patrik denying Origen playoffs, or well, not completely,
Yeah, but like putting a nail in that coffin.
yeah, right? It's like, it's crazy. The storylines are real.
Patrick's got his shovel out. He's got about 5.5 feet underground, just waiting for that final 6 foot to bury Origen. And like, perhaps some people haven't been watching for the last year, but there's so many similarities for this Origen season to last Origen season, right? They do pretty well in spring, and then when you get to summer and they look like they're okay, they look like they're doing well, and they just kind of fall off a cliff. And it's disheartening to see if you're an Origen fan and you wonder why so consistently they struggle when it comes to the second half of summer.
I mean, I don't think anyone really knows outside of the Origen players themselves, but often, like, you can see the frustration that they often experience. But in any case, we've been talking a lot about around the game. Let's have a look at how the lane game state is currently setting up. There was a lot of pressure from Special in the mid lane. He's been able to build up a bit of an advantage in the 1 versus 1. Bot lane has been very even. Of course, when you pair the Caitlyn up with something like a Braum, it cannot express the same amount of pressure that you can with something like a Morgana or a Karma. So Upset and Jactroll feeling a lot more comfortable. I think that the Tahm Kench pick also mitigates a lot of the pressure that things like a Braum could bring to the lane as well. So I think that OG have done a good job on the bot side of the map. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Alphari's even been able to get a CS advantage over Kryze in the 1 versus 1. But that's kind of what we expect when you look at Alphari. Regardless of the matchup, this man in the top lane tends to find advantages.
I mean, statistically, he's just the best top laner in our league. He's so good. He plays so consistently. Sometimes you struggle to see a true carry performance out of him. I think I've seen a few gangplanks from him, but he's so good at just doing his job for the team.
Of course, there's always, like, I understand what you're saying, but it's one of those things where when you look at Alphari as a player, you expect him to always put on an extremely high-level performance, and he can definitely carry games, right? I think that one of the big things that we've talked about when it comes to Alphari is that if you compare him to a player like Caps, when his whole team is struggling, Caps still finds ways to almost win the game single-handedly, and I feel like that same thing doesn't happen for Alphari as often. Now, that's not to take anything away from Alphari, right?
Still a very good player.
Because we also talked about, like, you also got to think about the constraints of the role and the position that Alphari is in, playing in the top lane. And basically what I'm saying is Alphari needs to be a mid laner. And he needs to get out of top lane and start impacting more of the map and having more room to do so. But yeah, very talented player. He's doing extremely well so far in this 1 versus 1. When we haven't seen a lot of action, it's we're kind of ramping up to, well,
You said this last time, Vedius.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking at what lanes they could play around. If I'm Origen, I'm thinking like, okay, I can play around top lane. I could maybe play around bot lane, but it's not the easiest lane to play around. Maybe if I use the Tahm Kench ultimate to kind of set up a flank, and maybe if I have a Corki package, there's a real possibility that we can make something happen here. Whereas for XL, they can't really dive bot lane because you don't really want the Azir to be roaming. They could maybe look for a play top as well. So, like, neither team really has fantastic options when it comes to early playmaking. So I feel like that there's just, you know, a lot of farming.
Saying that we're going to just take things slow for the moment.
Take things slow.
No huge
Right,
fights,
so while we do
major.
have some time, right?
I was kind of waiting for you
I
to do
have this tool,
Yeah.
okay? And I'm very happy with it, okay? Because the thing is, production team, they don't really know that I've done this.
You guys ready, Twitch chat? It's going to be fun.
So basically, I have the power to create Keck Ws whenever I want. Right? So whenever there's a bad play or something crazy goes wrong, but I have more than that. Maybe something goes horribly wrong. Oh, yikes! Uh-oh. Didn't mean to do that. So I have that power, and I can drop that whenever I want.
Can you do it on either side, or is it just on the X?
So I can do this.
Really
I can do it this side.
Oh, yep.
And I can do this.
That is.
And I can do that whenever I want.
Vedius, you have ascended.
Yeah,
I thought Ender was the only weird champ in our league.
And so when you least expect it, Medic, who knows?
Yep.
What could happen?
You know what builds good caster synergy? Making someone laugh during the middle of a team fight. Yeah.
Surprise, the unexpected. So let's look at the game right now because we can see that Kryze is pushing top. The fact that Nukeduck has just reset means that Special will be able to push in mid, and this also gives Caedrel the ability to actually stall off the Rift Herald. So this will be the second major objective of the game. Of course, XL were able to secure that early Cloud Drake, and a lot of the early control has gone in their favor for the time being, even though in a couple lanes they have been falling a little bit behind. Xerxe now looking for that gang top.
Kryze might be caught out. Xerxe going in with the Void Assault. There's TP as well, but the hookshot wall dive from Kryze will get him out. Nukeduck here with the packages over the wall. Teleport coming in from Torre. He's on the wrong side of the Rift. Flashes over towards Nukeduck and puts up the Unbreakable. XL going to try and get him out of here. Call of the Forge God's going to be used. Hits Torre. Glacial Fissure doesn't connect onto Nukeduck. And Torre is down for first blood. Origin strike first. Rift Herald was picked up by XL.
So that all started with Xerxe looking to get a collapse onto Kryze as he's rotating down to assist Caedrel doing the Rift Herald. So he thinks that, okay, good chunk of damage, he's holding onto the E to be able to chase down. He recognizes, okay, Kryze disengaged, but a bit of a communication disparity there as Nukeduck goes in, meanwhile Xerxe is going out. And I think that happened because the Torre TP came in and OG was not expecting that to happen. So they kind of divided a little bit there. Then we see the Jhin ultimate come out. Upset lands a big hit onto Torre, and they're able to find that kill. So while Origen do draw first blood, the objective still goes down in favor of XL, and this means that they can continue to funnel gold onto either the Azir, the Camille, or the Caitlyn, pretty much whoever they want.
We won't see that Caitlyn getting as far ahead in this game as we did in the last. Comp was funneled a huge amount of gold here, with Upset getting the first kill. It means that Origen will have a little bit more on their Jhin, but this is, wow. I haven't seen an Ornn die underneath his tower that successfully in a long time.
Well, that was a really well-executed dive coming out from XL. They didn't really give Alphari the opportunity to move, and now they're going to take this extremely quickly. And it looks like Kryze is going to be the benefactor of the gold. Oh, Caitlyn going to get some as well, and the jungler too, so they're going to evenly distribute that out. But XL off to a good early lead here, utilizing some of the early power that they have and that early objective control to break open the map just a little bit.
Yep.
And now they're in a great position.
You can see 600 gold lead in the top lane, about 200 in the mid. 600 lead for Upset, though, in that bottom lane. He's building his way up towards an Infinity. Drift Herald will get another charge in top, but not going to be able to affect the map much more as Upset is just constantly keeping XL on their toes, right? He's in a strong position. Even on something like a Jhin, he can carry through the late game. And it's going to be very difficult for XL to keep him under wraps when he's got this early lead.
A lot of good vision control around the bot side of the map right now coming out from Origen. They're going for a bit of a trade here. Good ulti from Torre. I think that was necessary there, because if Jactroll got one more stack, that would have put Torre in a very dangerous position, especially without flash. And you can see XL, they're trying to wrestle some control back over from the bot side of the river. And this is making things a little bit hard. I'm keeping an eye on the mid lane right now because Nukeduck, again, just base Special has already pushed in the mid wave. This is going to give him access to the river. But there's a lot of, as the observers just highlighted, deep flanking wards behind. Alphari does have his teleport, but it's XL is going to start this one off. Keep your eyes on Alphari right now.
Jactroll's going to get forced off in the bottom lane. He uses the heal. Patrick's going to try and trade. It's Caedrel on that dragon still. Xerxe is going to look for the steal. Upset actually might be caught out, gobbled up by Jactroll. Torre on the chase, still unbreakable. Used heal from Patrik. Xerxe stepping forward once again to try and get in towards this river, and Caedrel might be on the wrong side of this. Cuddle Core comes out, Caedrel lands the smite. There's the double face breaking.
Nice.
He's still got the haymaker. We'll pop it right at the end. Nukeduck just needs to land one more missile, or Xerxe could jump in, but they can't get close enough. And XL actually might be able to get out of this without actually losing anyone. Special's going to jump away, still has the flash. Xerxe flashes forward though, and I think Special could have flashed just a moment earlier there.
Yeah, I think that, again, a bit of a strange setup there, because both teams are just kind of very much eyeing each other up and saying like, oh, you're going to make the first move, and a lot of the action actually happened between Patrik, Torre, Upset, Jactroll in the 2v2 bot lane, and whoever could get that control in the lane was likely going to be the one to actually secure that objective. At the end of the day, XL come out with the objective. They do lose a player, though. So the goal is still very even, but it's that 4 Drake win condition that we're always talking about. It's going to be very pivotal for XL to utilize that, especially when I think their engaged is actually very weak, and it's going to be harder for them to start fights. They always want to be first on the objective, because you can see how difficult it is for Origen to approach in a situation like things like the Caitlyn traps, the Braum ultimate, the Braum shield, the fact that Azir can like use so much of his poke. They always want to be first on that objective, and if they're not, that's where things can get very scary for them because of how easy it will be for Origen to actually engage fights later.
Origen will just be looking to dive in as quickly as they can with that call of the Forge God. Mountain Soul will help with a little bit of shielding. You know, you've got not too many super tanky members on XL, so having that extra shield will to mitigate some of the poke coming out from the Corki, poke coming out from the Jhin will definitely help, and it will also make Caedrel a lot tankier as he is building up some magic resist, some armor for himself right now. Basically even in gold here. There's like 100 between the two teams every now and again. Call of ace in the hole, that's what it's
rude.
called.
Very rude.
I mean, that's what you do.
I mean, you definitely do. Like, it's a smart thing to do. Doesn't stop it from being rude.
So here's the thing, Vedius.
Yeah.
Is it actually rude? Because if it was rude,
correct.
I'm pretty sure Upset would have said yikes, and I didn't see him say yikes.
No, he wouldn't say yikes that. No. False. Incorrect.
Patrik would have said KW then.
I'm not doing it yet.
You shouldn't.
You can't force it. You can't force it, Vedius. I'm the one with the power here.
It sucks because of this screen, I can't get over there. Like, I'm held back by a force field. Teleport coming in the bot lane as Patrik is exhausted. The root comes down onto Jactroll. Teleport from Nukeduck's going to join the bait. Torre should be the first to fall, even through the Unbreakable. He can't survive. Patrik able to dodge away towards the backside as Xerxe going in as well. Caedrel running for the wins and will be able to escape. Xerxe's going to try and get some vision in this jungle, but there's nothing there for him to secure.
Xerxe will be trying to clear out some of this vision, though. Good pick coming out from Origen. Good utilization of the teleport from Nukeduck. And again, seeing these proactive plays, making sure that XL don't have too much of an early game advantage is definitely the position that Origen want to be in. It's very similar to what we saw last game with Rogue versus Vitality, yeah. Well, I do think that scaling is always a bit of a weird one, especially in this comp, because I think that Jhin is actually a very strong late game threat. One of his biggest problems is because he only has 4 shots, he struggles against tanks. So sure, he's like, killing Braum and killing Sett might be harder, but at the end of the day, he kills Camille very quickly. He will melt Camille, right? He also, if he ever gets on top of the Azir or the Caitlyn, he'll also just absolutely destroy them too.
It's like 3-shot territory.
Yeah, and he also, like, his ultimate is really valuable when it comes to setting up sieges because you can zone the threat away, and also because of his W, he can set up for picks really effectively.
Oh, here's another pick. The other teleport being used. Alphari comes down here. Torre's going to put up the Unbreakable, but Patrik's just going to have to run. I love this from Origen. So much more aggressive, looking for the plays. The flash forward from Jactroll, and the kill is gifted over to Upset. 3-0-1 on this Jhin. And you wouldn't know this team is on a 4-game losing spree.
Really well executed play there from Origen. And here we can just see exactly the same play that we saw before. We talked about how Origen could use the flank for ultimate from Tahm Kench, but they don't need to because they have Alphari TPing him from behind. XL fall for exactly the same trap, and even though Torre does block the ultimate, he still ends up getting knocked up. I love this flash from Jactroll to apply that slow onto Patrik after already lost his flash. Makes it very easy for Upset to be able to pick up the double kill. And now this Jhin is 3-0-1, and when a Caitlyn falls behind, things get a lot harder because, again, you're often second to the objective, and as we talked about, when you have Caitlyn comps, you really want to be first on the objective. You want to be laying down those traps. You want to be having that zone control, which is now going to be harder because Jin's at 2 items. Upset is 3-0-1. And earlier, chat was voting, saying that they expect Patrik to carry harder, but right now, Upset seems to be in a better position to actually come out on top.
Yeah, Patrik struggling just a little bit right now, about 1,100 gold behind. And you have to wonder where XL are going to get their advantages from. Like we've seen
Drake, I think, Vedius.
Yeah, I mean, Drake definitely.
Soul, yep.
I was wondering, like, why didn't Kryze teleport down into that play? Why didn't Special have his TP when Nukeduck was able to get down there? Right now, XL can't control the dragon. You say it, like, Jhin is too strong for you to walk into him. You've got the Manamune stacking up on Nukeduck. I've serrated Dirk on Xerxe. He's building up all that extra damage, and it becomes very difficult for XL to actually enter into these fights.
It certainly is. OG now claiming firm control over the game. Looks like Rift Herald will go down for XL, but Alphari's ultimate is about to come up. OG want to contest.
Looking for that eye to open on the back. Caedrel's going to try and get around there. TP used here by Kryze to rejoin this fight. Do you fight this, XL? I'm pretty sure you shouldn't. Special called out. Torre on the front line with the Unbreakable. Glacial Fissure comes down, doesn't hit anyone. The Call of the Forge God hits 2. Turret goes down in the bottom lane, I believe, as XL get their second of the game.
Ooh, look at this right now. You can see that both Nukeduck and Xerxe moved in through this part of the jungle to actually cut off XL from being able to collapse, and then this allows them to actually secure the mid-tier 1 as well. Now they're attacking Kryze. Good knockup.
Great knockup from Alphari. Interrupted Kryze in the middle. He's going to jump away. Hexagold made him down there, but Alphari, you can tank this for days. TP coming in. Torre, he's been sacrificed so many times. Flash away from Xerxe is special. Joined with his teleport, but Origen, I'm actually really loving this. There's a little bit more proactivity, a little bit more willingness to go for these plays.
Yeah, and they're keeping up the pressure as well. The way in which they executed that was well done. Of course, they did lose the Rift Herald, but you can see this game is slowly falling out of XL's control. They had a pretty solid early game with how they were getting these early Drakes, and they were even in kills, but it feels to me like that it's harder to leverage this Caitlyn pick when you do pair it up with the Braum, and it felt like the XL didn't have the easiest lanes to play around, and now they're starting to fall behind as a result. So here we see Kryze threatening this tower. He's going to be able to secure this one, knowing that the minions will get it. He then TP's in, and they're expecting a fight to happen here. Immediately, though, you can see the poke come out from OG, where it's like ultimate from Corki, ultimate from Jhin, knockup from Alphari, and it's just chipping away at the members of XL. And again, Nukeduck and Xerxe cutting off the collapse from XL so that they can zone them away from this tower that Jhin is now securing. As the resets come through, you can see that Camille sticks around to clear this wave, which you just can't do. Kryze is overextended here, and this makes it easy for Jactroll to use the ultimate to come in. And then Torre's like, well, I guess I'm dying for the team. Because this is not Torre's fault here. He's just doing everything he can to protect Kryze, and unfortunately for Torre, he gets punished for the sins of his top laner.
Just a little bit of greed there from Kryze, trying to get that CS under his belt. He's got the Cull stacking up, 30 farm left on it. Trinity Force complete, Nash's Tooth finished on special, and I will note Patrik now has that enhanced auto attack, that rapid fire cannon, the ability to stand a little bit further back and still output the DPS, but he is 1,700 gold behind Upset. We asked who would carry more. Well, right now it is Upset who has been given the kills by his team, and it is he who is expected to carry. Has that zeal on its way to his next item. Trinity Force complete on Nukeduck, and this could be the start of Origen really taking over this game.
I mean, I feel like they've already taken over this game, Medic. With the gold advantage that they have, with the itemization that's coming through, they are looking good. And XL, they will use the Herald to secure this tower. Get a little bit more poke down from the side of the Caitlyn. And Upset going to trade this tower in the top lane as well. The Drake spawns in about 1:32. Both teams looking to contest for that one. So the game likely going to slow down just a little bit right now. Of course, we do have a very important matchup coming up next with Sjokz versus Fnatic.
They could have been any teams, and it would have been very important. Like, every game is just so important.
This is an epic
That's true.
game. Do you know what I mean? Because it's Sjokz versus Fnatic.
Gilius, King of Lee Sin, ascend to godhood and grant me this win.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've got Fnatic. A lot of fans worrying whether they'll even be able to qualify for playoffs with so many of our teams so close in the standings. And if Origen do get this win, things only get closer.
So I actually think XL winning here is worse for Fnatic.
Oh, really?
I think, because they're currently so it's a half of one, six of one, half a dozen of the other, right? Like it's.
Okay.
But if you are a loss behind 5th place, you're then only fighting for 1 spot, right?
Oh.
Because there's only 6th place available.
So because Fnatic have a win.
Fnatic and XL are both 7 and 8,
okay.
and Origen is 6 and 9, right? So
right.
if Origen win, we have more teams tied at 7 and 9, assuming Fnatic lose.
But
as well.
Fnatic have more games.
Yeah, they have 1 extra game.
Yes.
But if XL win and Origen lose, then Fnatic can get themselves up to 8 and 8, which is like still ahead, right?
I see what you mean, yeah.
So instead of being like, Anyway, that's why playoffs are confusing. That's why we'll keep talking to you about them, as Origen set up around the Baron. 13 seconds on the Dragon. Let's have a look at where we are in terms of items. Well, Upset, he's got 3.
Yes.
Static Shiv, there. Little bit extra
So,
burst.
chat,
Great wave clip.
Right now, you're wrong. Hate to break it to you, but you did vote for Patrik earlier.
Yep.
And your boy Patrik, he's been attacked a lot. In his defense, I do
Only
not
died
think that
once.
he... Well, yeah, but Torre was the one that was getting killed as a result of that.
I played support enough to know that if I die, it's my fault, and if the AD carry dies, it's my fault.
That's definitely not what you say when we play.
Yeah, because there's the mid laner dying.
Oh, I see. So when Special died, that was his fault, not Torre's fault. Got it. All right, fair enough. Well, Drake will go down to OG. And now they sit with a pretty comfortable 2k gold advantage. You already talked about the itemization. A lot of it is now being completed. Jactroll with the Dead Man's Plate as well. And like, the thing is, with no objective to play for, like, again, both teams kind of ramping up. Both teams kind of taking their time. We talked a lot about stakes this game. We're kind of 23 minutes in. At this point, like, any monumental team fight can very quickly shift the outcome of this game. And I think it's important to recognize that, like, we briefly touched on scaling earlier. And like, I kind of want to bring it back to that because the thing about scaling is it is a bit weird, this game. Because you can send Ornn to hold Kryze, and
Okay, what you guys haven't noticed, I'm quickly going to do this. My voice felt a little sore, so I started going, because I wanted to make sure my vocal cords are warm. Andy reached for his phone, thinking he'd left it on vibrate and someone was calling him.
I was going to turn it off, and I was like, what? Everyone, I was like, no one rings me. Oh God, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry, right. So the scaling, that's what I wanted to talk about. So the thing is, I think the Ornn can hold the Caitlyn, the Camille.
Okay.
But I think that Camille will get to a point where she can't really be dealt with.
Yeah.
Because she does do true damage. So even though you build strong armor to try and deal with her, like, it will get to a point where it doesn't really matter and she can just melt through you and keep pressure in a side lane. But the only way you can maintain pressure in a side lane is if you have pressure elsewhere. And so this is where the scaling thing kind of becomes interesting, because you can't split push if Origen's just like, well, if you keep sitting side lane, we're just going to take Baron. And then, like, we don't care. You know, like, okay, you take our tier 2, maybe you take tier 3. We have Baron now. We recall, we stop you. We can now siege and we can end the game, right? So this is why having a strong mid and strong AD carry is so important. And of course, Patrik and Special are definitely weaker than their lane counterparts. In particular for Patrik, he's only a level down now, but just a second ago he was 2 levels down. You can see that with the Molten Edge also being completed for Upset, it's only going to make the disparity between AD carries larger. So again, while Camille does threaten a lot in a side lane, you can see right now Camille is sitting bot lane. OG's just grouping up as 5. They're creating threat and they're forcing fights.
Call of the full shot coming down. Caedrel was locked up in it. You can see there's just no damage on Alphari right now. Patrik putting down the traps as much as he can.
They're just going to stop Baron, I think.
Patrik had to flash away. Ornn did not burn the teleport to get in there. He was just there with the team in there. So could have started Baron.
So I mean, I understand why they didn't start Baron, because of course they just blew the Ornn ultimate, and so if they start the Baron, then it's hard for them to turn.
Yeah.
The problem is now that because they went for that play and didn't get anything for it, what's ended up happening is that this wave is now pushed all the way underneath the tower. Kryze was able to pick up a lot of farm, and basically XL just get to keep stalling out the game. They get to keep buying more time, and they're not really under any threat. So I think Origen had a window there where they could have started Baron to try and bait TP out from Kryze and then immediately disengage. But that's always it's always a gamble, right? Because at the end of the day, OG's intent here is not to finish the Baron. It's to, like, bait the TP, and if Kryze never TPs, then they're like...
It's how long do you play bluff for,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like, do we risk Caedrel maybe jumping in at the end? They did get Patrick's flash, so if they can do something in the next 5 minutes, if they can catch out that Caitlyn, perhaps they can find something from it. But for now, didn't come up with much. I will note, Special has an Elixir of Sorcery in his inventory, perhaps wondering if a fight will happen soon. There's a Mountain Dragon in about a minute, but it's only 3rd dragon for either team, so not going to be too impactful. Special has finished his 2 core items on the Azir as well. With the Leandries, he's now going to start doing just that little bit more to the Ornn, who we saw in that last fight. It's pretty hard to get through.
Yep.
Like right now, Caitlyn only at 2.5 items, no Last Whisper. Becomes quite difficult to work your way through an Ornn who has Sunfire Cape, Ninja Tabi, and a Bramble Vest.
Correct.
Thanks.
Drake spawns in about 35 seconds. That's probably going to be the next big point of contention.
We always say contestion, and that's not really
No, I
a
don't.
word.
I say contention.
Yeah, you say contention. I say contest now.
Oh. But it's you that told me, because I used to say contestion. Point of contention.
Contestion, yeah.
It is a word. No, it's not.
You're thinking of congestion.
No, don't think I am.
Keep talking.
Contention is definitely a word.
Yeah, contention is 100%. But
Contestation.
contestation.
Wait, that sounds like condensation.
Oh no, contestation is, but not contestion.
Okay, so what's contestation?
Somewhere where you contest.
Oh, you mean like an arena?
Yeah. Oh, contestation.
The action of
Consonation.
arguing. So we're contestationing right now.
Isn't? No, because neither of us are really arguing points.
I disagree.
Oh no! It's contestation. Okay, so Dragon was taken. Betty, can you please just? I think if the players were listening to us, they would have said yikes right there.
Disagree.
Okay. I'm trying really hard for you, Twitch chat. I know.
No, because the moment will come when you least expect it.
Or like in a break or something.
It's the building of suspense. But also, it's a mighty tool, and you must pick the right moment to use it.
Yeah,
because you know when Ender gets to use it later, he's just going to ruin it. So, all right, let's have a look. Baron now being set up by Origen. They're just clearing out the vision. Alphari is pushed in all the way underneath the tower, which then buys them a lot more time to set up the rotation over to mid. Observers, if we could just have a quick toggle of the vision. Let's see what XL can see right now. And yeah, all of the Baron pit is fogged out. They do have some control wards behind. Thank you, observers, for highlighting these. So there are windows. There are places for XL. Ooh, the control ward actually just got removed because of Caedrel.
Here we go.
You can see that the Baron is being started off. Ultimate is available for Alphari.
Okay, Baron down. Probably about 7,000 HP right now. I couldn't see that. It's a great prediction, Aaron. Well done. Jactroll standing on the front line. Caedrel down to about half HP. The Call of the Forge God being used, but doesn't really hit on to anyone. Kryze trying to jump onto Nukeduck on the back line. He goes in with the Hexagon of main. Nukeduck's almost dead. Jactroll trying to gobble him up, but that's the showstopper. Nukeduck's down, and now they're looking for upset. Caedrel's dived all the way in. Can they get them? Xerxe is going to kill Caedrel. The front line now is still Alphari just standing tall on this Ornn. But once again, it's Baron Vedius. Once again, it is a team starting Baron, and as Upset says, that's a yikes.
Oh my word, such a massive loss here for Origen, but the Baron is not going to be started off because Caedrel did end up going down. With no smite available and Xerxe alive, it seems that XL, what they've been able to do is buy themselves some time, close the gold gap just a bit, get a couple more items under their belt. And Origen, a disastrous fight for them. When we get to replay, let's see exactly how things fell apart for them, because it seemed like they were kind of two sorts. A part of me felt like that they wanted to turn and fight. The other part felt like that they wanted to just commit to the Baron. So Alphari is tanking at the Baron. Look at the positioning of Nukeduck right now. He's just kind of like, what is he? Like, Nukeduck's not really threatening anything right now. It just gives Kryze an easy window to jump on top of him. And then like such a good dive from Kryze, because he recognizes how out of position Nukeduck is, and he's able to find that kill. And the moment he goes down, Upset's immediately on the retreat. And again, huge props to Kryze. This man is just diving both carries every single time. And because there's too much focus from Jactroll to peel the initial carry that was burst down, then there's no protection for Upset. Upset did a lot of damage in that fight, but Kryze played that extremely well, just shutting down pretty much all the damage dealers from Origen.
It was only a moment ago we were talking about how Upset was carrying this team. He did the most damage, but he was actually out-damaged by Patrik and out-damaged by Kryze. Great stuff there from XL. They are within 300 gold. There is a Soul Dragon for Origen up in 1 minute and 50 seconds time, but XL will be looking to stymie that, to stop that, to now see perhaps if Kryze is strong enough in a side lane to deal with this Ornn. He's got a level advantage, he's got Death Dance, he's got the Trinity Force complete.
Well, the biggest thing now is that XL's 4-man is strong enough to hold Origen's 4-man, which means that XL are less scared about this just group and force because of how much easier it is for Kryze to just keep threatening on a side lane. So Origen is now in a much more awkward spot, and this Baron is a lot scarier. Now, of course, Origen's big win condition is that 4th Mountain Drake, the Dragon Soul, but XL can keep dancing around this Baron. They have good control wards. They do need to restock, though. Looks like that's what they're going to do, drop this vision, clear out some of their waves, and then go replenish their vision.
Yeah, and the difficulty for XL as well is that Kryze doesn't have the TP right now. Alphari can join a fight if it goes on, so Kryze, they're just looking to, you know, push forward, get rid of some vision, deny some of that from Origen, and now Origen, they have to reset, recoup some of those wards in their inventories. You can actually see it becomes harder and harder because Upset doesn't have space for a control ward. Nukeduck doesn't have, I mean, He does if he sells the Vampire, except then Nukeduck could get rid of his dagger. Come on, let's be honest. Not doing as much as Control Ward could. You have no Control Wards on Xerxe. You've got no Control Wards on Alphari. If XL take the proper time to clear out Baron Pit, if they take the proper time to clear out Dragon, Origen do not have the tools to replenish that vision.
It's definitely true. Right now, Origen, they're quite comfortable with the vision that they do have, but it's quite defensive. They have a couple wards on the Baron itself. Good poke damage coming down from Patrik. He's going to push out the mid wave. OG trying to take the fast track route towards this objective. Kryze is here with the team. And that's good chip damage from Upset. That's very important. You have to keep track of Upset in these fights. Remember, we talked about Upset versus Patrik. Well, right now it's Upset versus Kryze, as Kryze is going to look for a flank. He is hunting for the head of Upset right now.
This fight is so much more important for XL than Origen. Origen can just disengage it if they want to. This Dragon would not give XL a soul.
As the crit, he's looking to combine the crit from Upset's Jhin with the smite Q
Reset.
execute from Xerxe.
Reset comes out, as you say. Be so much damage. Xerxe's actually there. Kryze has disengaged this. It's down to 2,000. Caedrel, you got to get in there. It's secured. Caedrel gets it. He smites it away. But now the curtains rain down and the call is going. Upset looking for the damage. Caedrel taken out. The rampage comes down. Call of the Forge got blocked by Torre. The shield will stop the ram in his tracks. And one Frey Order member says to the other, not today, my friend.
Now with the jungler dead on XL, OG's going to make a beeline for the Baron. There are still 4 members alive.
Might be dead.
Good route.
Special oversteps just a little bit. The exhaust going down onto Upset. Patrick's going to try and open up, but they can only hit onto Alphari. Xerxe down to about a third of his HP. Kryze has TP. He's down in the bottom lane trying to push in, but he might be trying to force Origen's hand. He might be saying, you have to go for this now, because otherwise I can push in the bottom lane.
Well, here we go. Origen going to start this one off. The TP is going to come through from Kryze. This is a big deal. I don't think they're going to get there in time, though.
It's just gone. This Jhin, this Kha'Zix, they do it too quickly. The Baron secured. And although XL got the Dragon, they lost their jungler, and because of that, they lose the more important objective.
That could have been a very dangerous situation for Origen to find themselves in. For XL to put themselves on that soul point. But because Caedrel lost his life, I'm not sure if he actually had Flash available, but the fact that he ended up going down, and now OG are on the offensive. TP's coming through left, right, and center.
Guy's gonna use the hookshot to try and get away, but look at everyone's here. Everyone joins the party, and Kryze, well, does exactly that as he goes down.
And overextension there from Kryze. Let's have a look at this. Upset and Xerxe tried to combine their bursts. Crit comes through. 298 HP smite. Looks like Xerxe was not ready for that one. And then
he bends this last bullet. He bends it. Like, Torre is in front of it, and he just gets it to the side of him.
Wow.
It's actually crazy.
Well played there by Upset. Really good use of the ultimate to get that execute, because that's ultimately what gave them the Baron. And now, with this Baron, they can start threatening the base of XL. Remember that even though if XL lose this game, that will not lock them out of playoffs. No. But for Origen, winning this game or losing this game almost certainly locks them out of playoffs, and their chances or the scenarios in which they make it to playoffs become significantly lower.
I'll give you the numbers in just a second if you want. If Origen win, in 42% of scenarios, they make it to playoff. If they lose, in 1.9% of scenarios, they make it. If XL win, 89% of scenarios.
89.
If they lose, still 40. They still have a chance. So XL losing this is not the death knell that it would be for Origen, and Origen now pushing in. It's on Patrik, the former player, against his former team. 2 levels down, has to try and hold the line. He's put the traps down. He's inviting Upset to eat a tasty cupcake, but Upset is having none of it. The wave cleared out, though. Still a 3rd HP on that mid lane inhib.
Origen taking their time for now. The problem is their waves are not synced up. This gives XL the ability to just keep clearing out this wave one at a time, but here's the power of the Jhin ultimate, trying to zone XL away.
And Torre's going to put up the Unbreakable, but that means the Call of the Forge God is now free to be used, and Alphari, there's a wall there. No one can step there. You can't walk through the wall as Xerxe takes down the mid inhib tower. The bottom inhib tower is going to follow as well, and Origen actually able to still get what they wanted, even though some of those ultimates weren't placed as perfectly as they could be. Alphari takes a moment to smith something in the middle of the fight. So he upgrades another item, and now XL have to try and defend. This could be their second inhib. Upset almost goes down. The Glacial Fissure being used. Special's on his way, but he's not there yet. Showstopper going to bring back Alphari. Kryze trying to dive in. Hexagol made him. Locks out Alphari, and he's going to be the first to fall, but Kryze might be the next. Torre flashing out of the fight. The inhibitor goes down. Origen get what they wanted. They lose one, but they get out.
XL get one pick, but That's not going to stop the fact that 2 of their inhibitors have gone down. The Baron buff will just run out for Origen. And as you said, Medic, Origen, they get what they want. They set themselves up to end this game and keep their playoff chances alive. The Drake will be spawning in a minute's time. That soul is going to be valuable for both teams. This game still very much on a knife's edge. Origen with a good advantage, very strong. We've seen teams with bigger leads throw this split. Trust me, my Keck W is ready.
Hey, as we have a quick moment here,
Yeah.
I was actually talking to production,
Yeah.
and because I have this screen between the 2 of us,
Yeah.
they told me they could do something very special for me.
I don't want to.
Depper, have you got... Okay, let's get back on into the action. It's serious time. Thank you very much, Depper and Kevin. Oh, back there. Dragon.
I knew it was Kevin. It was
available.
Kevin's idea.
It's always Kevin. 15 seconds on the Mountain Dragon. Caedrel looking for an opportunity to get in here. What flashes do we have? Well, Upset still has his teleport used here by Kryze.
That's a good amount of damage.
You say Ace
Oh, and the Drake.
Xerxe.
Oh, this is huge. XL, they are primed to get this sword. I don't even know if OG is going to be able to challenge.
Mountain Dragon, 2000, Call of the Forge God going down, but it's already secured. And Torre's going to block the Call of the Forge God. XL, what do you want to do, mate? You want to go for the fight? You want to Hail Mary it one last time? They don't need to, but they could. They could, Vedius, they could look for it. Nukeduck has the package. It's not going to go in. Xerxe looking for a flank position, but with no out on Alphari, Origen, they lose out on the Dragon. XL get it, and they get out alive.
Great play there from Patrik. He was able to just chunk out Xerxe, which meant that OG's ability to contest that Drake became completely nullified. So really well played there. And I told you, man, this game still very close between the 2 teams. The Mountain Dragon Soul, very popular. You talked about the poke it mitigates. Like, that's extremely true. When you synergize up with the Camille as well, it's going to amplify all the bonus stats. So, like, there's only benefit. Now the GA on top of Kryze as well. This game could still very easily swing. 40 minutes in. We've had some long games today, Medic. We're only at game 2. And things are already getting very tense here in LEC Super Week 8.
It's a little bit crazy, I've got to admit. Special has now finished 4 items. He's got himself a Void Staff, which will definitely help working his way to Alphari. I don't see a huge amount of magic resist on the rest of Origen, but I saw some maths on Reddit saying it's still pretty good, even if there's not a huge amount of magic resist. Usually around 70 to 80 magic resist you want for that Void Staff. But Origen are free pushing in this top lane. XL we're pushing out mid. They're going to lose this inhibitor. Just a little bit of a bad rotation here from XL. Kryze having none of it. He's got the Hexagon made him. Could go for upset.
He can't ult him though, because Jactroll is ready with the consume. Looks like nothing's going to come out. Body block from Jactroll. It's good. I actually think Upset should have taken that because he has so much lifesteal. But Jactroll also just going to regenerate that back up. Look at all the fog. Origen looking for a pick onto XL, but they're not going to fall for the trap. Here comes Caedrel from the flank.
The issue here is for XL. They can't push back.
Oh, those are some big crits. It was just both sides. I just saw like massive 800s hit the blue buff, and this poor blue buff was just like, ah!
I think the problem for XL right now is they don't have teleport on Kryze. There are 2 super minions pushing in the bottom lane, and they have to stay here with Origen because otherwise,
here we go.
They're gonna lose so much. Vedi's starting to dance up and down as Kryze looks for it. Upset stepping forward, does a little bit of damage. The Baron resets. Super minions still in that bottom lane. We can see them pushing in. They'll be at the next turret soon. Someone's got a back, and it's Special. He's got the TP.
You're right. Origen is just buying their time right now. They're waiting. Ooh, good smite from Caedrel. We'll give XL a little bit more information on what's going on around this Baron.
Special's going to get back.
And now OG, the moment they see someone on those minions, they'll just start this one off. At the very least, they'll be able to get a TP out of it potentially. Oh, but Xerxe's tanking the Baron. He's going to jump out the back of it.
This is great for XL.
Origen just, Origen just going to miss their window here to actually threaten the Baron because Alphari wasn't the one tanking it. He was pushing out top wave. Now there's pings on the top lane. Origen are trying to get the fast track here, trying to push this wave in.
Supers are pushing in mid as well. So Origen think that they can get to the inhibitor by the time XL are able to reset and get to those minions in the mid lane, but XL take the short route round. They go in front of their wall, trying to pull Origen out of position. Caedrel spotted on a ward. He's not going to go for anything more, but the Abyssal Voyage. Now Origen reset. They're trying to pull XL around the map, spread them thin, like too little butter over so much bread. And now Origen to start up the Baron. 8,000 on it, as you say. It's very quick, but Torre is on his way. Caedrel on his way as well.
Disengaging?
Respawns in the bottom lane. The disengage comes out as Jactroll
So much tension right
What
now.
was that?
That was the noise of every fan out there.
That was SK Gaming, because that was Zazu right there.
That was...
You think anyone's going to go,
I am surprised that OG did not finish that. I thought they would just burn it. They had so much damage, Medic. Oh, my word. Man, this game is too tense. I'm really invested in this game.
I'm very invested as well. We'll talk about the bird sounds later on.
That situation though was just like, it literally could have gone either way. Like that smite,
100%.
That was a I feel like Origen had Baron there.
I agree.
But I'd have to look back, because it depends how close Caedrel was. He did have flash.
It depends what vision they have in the moment as well, right?
Yeah,
because
true.
like, who can they see? Where can they see? Because if they think everyone is with Torre here, perhaps they were worried about a 5-man just like full on.
But that's why I screamed, because the situation was just like, it was one of those, so you know when you're playing and you can see kind of how a situation's going to play out? That was one of those moments where I'm like, I have no idea how the situation played out, and it stressed me out. And I was just like, I have no idea how this is going to happen.
I get that, Betty.
So I can kind of like, right now, I'm kind of looking at how, see like, this is what I would define as a comfortable position for Origen right now, because they have a pushing mid wave, they know exactly where Kryze is, they're going to stick together, and so they're feeling comfortable, right? They can grab themselves the Scuttle Crab, and they're feeling happy, they're feeling good. They're going to clear out this vision, and so like, this isn't a stressful situation whatsoever. Like, Torre face checking that brush, that was a little stressful.
They've started it.
They started this one off.
Have started up
Look at the triple. Okay, that was a little too many Seekers being used there.
8,000, 7,000 is getting chunked out just by bit. Origen, you're looking to win this fight, otherwise your scenarios go down to 1.9%. You are as good as dead if you lose this. Xerxe has the boiler assault, looking for the flank position. Here goes Kryze, trying to dive forward. The curtain call mostly mitigated by XL. The Baron resets. I agree, Vedius. I agree. Hold it in. Okay, I'm trying to cast it.
Kryze pushing in the mid lane. OG committing to the Baron. This is a great situation for Kryze to be in, because OG's being forced off the Baron. XL can just keep pushing in mid. They can use the power of Kryze. That minion wave, they can actually start this one off. How many TPs are available? TP on Upset, TP on
Elder's up in 9 seconds. We've waited so long.
Yeah, but there's so many TPs on the side of Origen. Notice that Upset he used his flash. I actually missed that in the last fight.
Okay.
Kryze is able to not let... Sorry, Xerxe is able to jump to safety. Here comes the TP through. Another TP. All the TPs coming through from Origen. The Elder Drake's been started off.
It's already at 7,000 HP. Alphari's going to pull the call of the Portugal, but the Unbreakable's going to stop it in 2,000. And it's gets taken by XL. And Xerxe's dived in, but this could be everything that XL ever wanted. That's one. Killing spree for Patrik. Torre stepping forward. Alphari's going to go down as well. Shut down. And this is it. Origen, you had your moments. You had your chances. But XL slapped the win right out of their hands.
And XL will win the final fight. They will secure the Elder Dragon. They will reduce Origen's chances of making playoffs dramatically and set themselves up for success. Origen crumble, XL move forward, Origen will lose.
For the second year in a row, it looks like Origen in spring is magnitudes better than Origen in summer, as XL wipe them off the rift.
Such a massive win for XL. So important in the context of the standings. Origen needed that win. Their chances of playoffs, they're so much lower now. Medic was talking so much about it this game. The number of scenarios where they actually qualify for playoffs are so much lower. I think it's safe to say it's pretty much out of their hands now.
Yes, it's 100% out of their hands. Well, yeah, they need other people to lose.
Yes.
They need other people to lose. That's the issue, right? They're at 6 and 9. You're chasing people who are moving up to 8 and 8. And
Look
it
at
just
the
becomes so much
frustration, man.
Like, we saw the tweet from Alphari. Like, he did not want to have another year where he did so well for the entire year and then just fell at the final hurdle, and it feels like that's what's happening for Origen again.
And there's no gauntlet this year. Last year, even though Origen didn't qualify for playoffs, there was still an opportunity for them to qualify to Worlds through the playoffs. Not anymore. You have to make it to playoffs if you want to get to Worlds, and things are looking very scary for Origen right now. Their destiny is not in their control, but massive props to XL. They were able to crawl their way back in. They punished every mistake that Origen made, and now their playoff likelihood skyrocketed.
Yeah, just going up and up and up. You can vote for your key player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Kryze, Caedrel, Patrik, What a flipping game. The
What
LEC,
game?
the LEC just blows my mind every week. Coming up next, it's do or die for Sjokz and FLICKR as they look to continue their miracle run versus Fnatic. They'll win as well. Like, it's just everyone. Neil's gonna get death charges here on the back line. Achilles is on a killing spree, and Neil's still alive. Reckless tries to dive in the exhaust, but here's the hero's entrance, and Necklace has to cleanse the QSS and try and get out of there. But he's gonna be the last one standing as Reckless versus the world.
Now the goal is to just knock OG out of playoffs and make playoffs ourselves, you know. If we make it happen, it's gonna be the biggest miracle run in EU history, I think.
As the healed temper fate. On to Quickshot, Reckless stepping back, curtain call, he's made his curtains for Origen, Nukeduck the first on the menu, he's sliding those shots around the Alphari.
We need some sort of aggressiveness, some sort of playmaking in this team, and right now it's not really working out. Potentially from there, we can create the Fnatic that everyone is used to.
But you know FC Barcelona players eat veggies.
No, they don't.
Hey guys.
That's a sponsor,
I think
Dad.
it will be a tough one, but we are ready.
What? Come on.
Do you still have those carrots?
Of course I do. Getting them to eat healthy takes a long time. Beko Harvest Fresh preserves vitamins for longer by simulating the natural 24-hour sun cycle. Beko, eat like a pro.
and welcome back to the LEC with Xerxe getting one step closer to playoffs here with this win against Origen, and I have Laure with me to talk about this victory. Hi.
Hello.
Congrats on this win. Unexpected one, I want to say, given the beginning of the game. And I want to rewind and talk about how things went here, because you managed to grab an early lead on the map movement, especially. You got the first turret, you got the first dragon, but you still didn't manage to convert this early lead into something bigger during mid-game. So how come?
Yeah, we did pretty decent early. I think we played lanes fine, and we had some good plays around the Herald. We managed to get it, and then getting the first tower was really good for us. But then when we swapped back and came to bot again, we made two really huge mistakes and basically got caught by the same play twice. We got TP'd behind bot, and it was pretty cringe. Yeah, I think it was really bad by us, and it really put us really far behind. And yeah, it was pretty sad.
You managed to get back on tracks afterwards. I mean, the casters were mentioning the fact that you capitalized on Origen's mistake, and given the compositions they have, they had to force fight to get you guys. So how did you prevent them from doing that?
Well, basically, we were on the back foot after that the entire game. We just had to respond, try to get as much vision as we could, and then try to capitalize on Camille's power in the side lane, and then just try to help her helping us win the game, because she was kind of our win condition. And I felt like they gave us a lot of free objectives. Caedrel was stealing everything and kept us in the game, and felt like we should have been taken out like 15-20 minutes earlier, because we were just really far behind at that point. But luckily they made so many mistakes and we just got the game.
Luckily, I mean, hearing here, it feels like it's more on Origen's mistake than you guys actually performing. You played really well here, Laure, really, and you were praising your teammates. The community chose Kryze to be the player of the game here. So you were mentioning his Camille. Tell me about his performance here and the role he had in this game.
Yeah, Kryze's Camille is really insane, and we picked it for him because he likes to play the champion. He's really good at it, and it kind of fits what we want to get in the game. And we didn't really help him that much in this game. He was kind of on his own. You know, he couldn't get any vision for him, so it must have been pretty sad for him to play Camille like that. And I'm just flabbergasted we won that game. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I think if I was Origen right now, I'd be so mad.
I think they are. I mean, the casters mentioned it. Their fate is not entirely in their hands now. But I mean, you mentioned a lot of luck, a lot of Origen making mistakes. But I want to know, how do you stay calm and collected during games like this when there's so much at stake?
Yeah, I think games like this, it's like everything we've been working for this entire split, like it goes up to games like this, and it's just like, how do you learn how to keep your head cool, you know? And I think all the guys were really calm up until the last point in the Dragon, where we got like 2 kills, and just everyone started screaming for their lives, because like it's over at that point. We got the Dragon, and yeah, I think we managed to keep our heads cool, and guess wait for Origen to screw up and win the game from there.
Right, so hopefully something a bit more clean tomorrow, I guess, right?
Yeah,
well,
hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see about that. Thank you very much, Laure, for the interview. We're going to take a break now, and we'll come back in a few minutes with Schalke 04 versus Fnatic. And if Schalke lose this one, they're out of playoffs. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, guys.